Sam here with Nexus Workshop. Our next section as we go through all the different types of inputs and outputs is going to be analog inputs. So analog inputs are going to be things like potentiometers, slide faders, flex sensors, all those fun things. A difference between them and digital inputs, the digital input has yes or no, true, false, on, off. The analog input has a lot of options. And typically the way that's going to work, or just no, the way that's going to work is you're going to have a power, a ground, and a signal wire. And that signal wire is going to be changing resistance. It's going to be building a voltage divider between the power and the ground. So it's going to be measuring that voltage. So that full voltage is giving us, this is completely on, 0 is giving us completely off. And then that one in between is changing its resistance between them and can end up creating a third voltage that it's using to measure and say this is how far up or down we are. Again, that's flex sensors, the little pot knobs, faders, things like that. Now, on the knobs, there's also the type that are just a series of pins, and it's called well, I guess there's two different types. Additionally, there's one where there's going to be several pins, and it's literally just a series of switches placed on a rotary. That'd be like a rotary knob, and that would give me multiple detents or positions. I have this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. That would be a series of switches as far as we're concerned. The other option would be this one, a potentiometer, which is a consistent 0 to 100 as it goes across that resistance. Now, it is possible to have both linear or logarithmic versions. That just has to do with that curve and how that gets read. You know, does it go smoothly or does it taper? And you just have to make sure that you know which one you're using because it's going to change your numbers. And I've also said 0 to 100, but the way we're actually going to read it is 0 to 4096. That has to do with the depth, or the bit depth on our encoding. But 0 to 4000 roughly is our range that we're going to have. And within the software or the UI, you're going to have plenty of options to capture these levels. So you kind of don't need to matter. Like if I were to take a fader and I were to say like, this is position 1, 2, 3, 4 on the fader, what I'm going to do is I go into level inputs, is I'm going to put it to 1, say learn, put it to 2, say learn, put it to 3, say learn, and now I have those inputs. And then I can choose, you know, hey, do I want this to be, 1 is from here to here and 2 is from there to there, or do I want it to be the center of 1 is this, and I get a percentage on either side that will also show up as 1. Because it's absolutely not going to be like, there's 4,000 readings in there. It's not going to be 3,842 is this. It's going to be, 35 to 3,900 is this. As you go through those different options, you'll be able to hook them up and handle that. An important thing to note is that on that voltage, there are 5-volt options on your prop controller, but remember, it is a 3.3 volt logic board, which means it measures 3.3 volts as 4096, as totally up. It's turned all the way up. So whenever you're hooking up these sensors, if you're hooking up an analog sensor, you need to make sure that you use one of the 3.3 volt pins. And you're going to connect that, ground, and then your signal pin. Again, like all the other things, you can take those, break them out, hook them up to multiple, split it. But that's what you're going to be doing, and that's how it's going to measure from 0 to 3.3. If you hook it up to 5 volt, it won't hurt anything, but you'll find that very early on, you hit 4096, and then it's not reading the top half of your thing because it's already gotten up to 3.3, and everything else is just like, I don't know, it's higher than full. So it won't actually see any difference on those. That's a pretty quick rundown, but that's kind of it for analog sensors. Again, inside the UI, you're going to deal with those in the level inputs section of definitions. That's where you're going to define, here are my ranges, here are my things that I'm going to learn. But now we're going to go and move on to input modules.